Hey guys, it's time for an updated video. I did a program change up at the beginning of November. I took the first week of November off as a deload, rest, extra recovery type of a week. I had 2 very easy workouts in that week instead of the 4 normal ones. And then I got started on the new program, which is kind of the same as the old program. The 4 days that I was doing before are still the same 4 days, except now I make sure that I actually get in all the work. So prior to November, if I didn't get into the last tricep for work, I didn't really care. As long as I got the first 2 supersets that have my big compound movements in, I was happy. Now I make sure that I don't stop until I'm done everything. What I have changed with that, in addition to making sure I do the whole workout, is on a volume day, so the high rep day, there's no more 15 to 20. It's just 20. And if I can't get 20 with the weight I'm using, then I do a breakdown set, or however many breakdown sets I need to get to 20, so that I'm doing a bit more volume every time. The one exception is if I'm doing the high rep squat day, I'm too big of a wimp to drop the weight and keep going if I can only get to 17 or 18. So with squats, I don't always do my 20 squats. I guess I'm leaving something on the table there. It's because they feel like death to me right now. On the medium rep day, the 8 to 12 rep day, I've added in pre-exhaust supersets. So an example here on the hamstrings and chest day, we're normally doing some sort of hamstrings exercise and a high incline dumbbell press. What I will do now is flip the order around and I'll do a fly, press, and then normally skull crusher that I do on the bench on the same place, so that I can transition from, in this double pre-exhaust superset, from one exercise to the next as fast as I can, which is just a different way to build up volume and perceived intensity in the workout. And then do my hamstrings exercise. If it's on the lats day, then instead of doing some kind of a row and some kind of a hip thrust, I'll do a straight arm pull down, a regular lat pull down, or a high cable row, then a biceps curl, so I get the double pre-exhaust, lats, biceps, biceps, and then do my hip thrust. And the reason that I'm doing that is because at the end of November, I asked a few people, what should I do, or what sort of changes should I make, or what should my priorities be in the last couple months of bulking before it's time to start cutting. Because once it's time to start cutting, I'm not going to be able to add any more muscle. It's already hard enough to add muscle as it is, and definitely in a caloric deficit, it's not going to happen. So the feedback that I got was deltoids, upper body stuff, like sort of here up. So adding in that for chest, and I just wanted to keep the balance at the back when I do it. And then the big thing to respond to that is adding an arms day. So it used to be 4 workouts a week, 3 rest days. And now it's 5 workouts a week, 2 rest days, which means my schedule has to tighten up quite a bit. It makes it a bit tougher because now I'm on a very regimented schedule, where before I had 4 days of workouts, 3 days of rest. Pretty easy to move those around with my schedule. Now it's pretty fixed because I'm on a 7-day schedule with 2 built-in days of rest, because my arm stuff has biceps and triceps in, which we know are in these exercises. So I want to have a day buffer on either side to make sure that I have enough time in between workouts for the best recovery that I can get. So now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday is off. Sunday I do my arms day. Monday I get a day off, and then start it all again on Tuesday. And the idea with this arms day is just get extra biceps work, extra triceps work, and extra shoulder work in. I've also added shrugs, which were not in the program, to get some upper traps work with deadlifts and stuff like that, but I wanted to also do shrugs and get it super focused on upper trap. And arms day is everything you ever thought it was. if you've ever had just arms day. It's been a long time since I've done just arms day. When we were in university and some of the guys used to get together and work out, it was like biceps, triceps, comp like this. There's arms, 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 arms. And it's a lot of fun, and it makes sense why people like doing this stuff. You get a great pump afterwards. Nothing feels super strenuous or difficult in the same way that like a high rep lunge or squat would feel like. It's just fun working out. That's a change up. Up till now, and it's been now 6 months of deliberately trying to put on muscle mass, I've gained about 10 pounds. It is what it is. Would love to have gained more, obviously. But 10-ish pounds over 6 months, it's over a pound a month, which for somebody who's been doing exercise for a while, I think is not that bad. And what it really boils down to is patience in the world of bodybuilding or physique development. Especially if you're a beginner, you can stand to put on stuff faster. It's going to happen. The longer you're in the resistance training game, the slower your gains are probably going to be. And if you look at anybody who's been doing natural bodybuilding for a long time, they'll probably all tell you the same thing. It's a game of patience. You just got to keep working and working and working and take whatever gains you can get. Definitely this approach that I've taken, the whole point of doing this video series is to try to show a manageable, sustainable, approachable way to go about bodybuilding. And one that removes some of the stigma or dogma that is commonly associated with bodybuilding and some of the stereotypes, like you have to do this or you have to do that, or if you don't do this, whatever. So trying to show that anybody can do this stuff, you need some solid programming and you definitely need the dedication to put in your workouts. And I'm trying not to do anything crazy. And same thing with eating. Like I'm not deliberately tracking food, and if this is technically the off season for a bodybuilder in the bulking phase, where not everybody's always tracking anyway, but I'm not checking to see how much protein I'm getting or how many calories I'm getting or whatever it is. The approach is, hopefully to make it easier and more sustainable for people, eat as much food as I can without getting too fat. Okay, the workouts that I'm doing are going to stimulate muscle growth. I have to have trust in my program and my adherence to the program. If I'm eating enough food, if I'm in a caloric surplus, that stimulus created by the workouts is going to lead to muscle deposition. My strategy has been eat as much food as I need to eat to put on that muscle. And I know I'm eating too much if I'm putting on body fat, because then I've taken more in than what my body can use for muscle and it's just storing it as fat. Up to this point, I haven't really been able to put on a ton of body fat. I'll do one again in a month or two, but I did a body composition scan maybe a month ago and found that I'd managed to gain like 1% body fat from where I normally hang out around 11. I was up at about 12.5. So I'll do another one and we can see how much muscle did I actually put on of these 10-ish pounds. But it has been a struggle for me to put on body fat. Hopefully when it comes time to cut, my body, which is currently resistant to fat deposition, will be very happy to shed whatever fat I can, but we'll see if I have the same sort of struggle of getting into an even leaner condition with even lower body fat than what my normal is. So hopefully my set point mechanism, which has kept me fairly lean while I'm trying to bulk and eating all this extra calories every day, will not also make it very difficult for me to drop below what my normal body fat level is. I did get some advice in November when I was looking at this program change-up and saying, hey, have a look at my physique right now, what do you think, what should I work on? And there was some people or some advice that came back that said, you're fine, start cutting. Take a nice, long, slow, lean out phase. And I'm not ignoring that because I definitely am heeding it. And I have heard, especially for beginners or first-time people in bodybuilding, that it's going to take longer than you expect to get lean, especially down to show levels of leanness. I'm hoping that I could spend an extra 2 months trying to put some of this shoulder mass on and still have enough time to get lean. So I'm hoping that in middle or end of January, when I finally give up the bulk and start to cut, that I won't have too hard of a time getting lean. And then we'll just see what happens, and hopefully that choice doesn't come back and bite me in the ass. But for the next month or so, it's keep bulking, and it's also slightly strategic. Not that I normally have problems with eating, and maybe that's because I've never had to eat more or eat less than whatever I feel like eating. But I wouldn't want to be in a caloric deficit or trying to be in a caloric deficit around Christmas. Especially because I really like food that we eat at Christmas, and I want to eat as much as I feel like eating. I don't want to have to think about, even if I think I'm fairly good at dealing with it, how much food am I eating? I'd rather just eat. So that's what I'm going to do. Postpone any sort of cutting until January. It might be the beginning, it might be the middle, it might be the end, and hope that I'm good enough at losing body fat to get down. And we'll see what happens. But until next time, have a good Christmas, and we'll see you next year.